Today we're going to take it a little bit more casual. I'm literally holding my phone. Hopefully it's not too wobbly. And I want to bring to your attention the idea that you are completely creating your own life. Is that not what this whole thing has been about so far? But in reality, all the rules, all the laws, all the different ways that you are supposed to be living, you're choosing to live by those. Now, I want to first acknowledge that if you are in certain situations, there are oppressive powers that are beyond your control that make this a lot harder to be able to take hold of. It doesn't mean you can't, it just means that it's a lot harder. So I do not disregard that. And I think it's very important to acknowledge that there are outside oppressive forces absolutely in the world we live in today, the world that is created and we have to deal with in our human experience. However, I also acknowledge that most of the people who are probably listening to my work are not in that category and do have the power to make different choices and not have to abide by the rules and the laws and the regulations that are put on us in so many ways. I'm not talking about going and breaking the law, but I am talking about becoming really present with what rules you decide need to be followed because something outside you told you that they needed to be. It's funny because this is something that I actually didn't want to acknowledge myself for a long time because I thought I was such a rule breaker. And I am. I am a rule breaker. And I'm laughing about this because I have this, but I don't know what that is, a castle that my sons love to play in. We like somehow inherited it. Um, and I see no qualms in this whatsoever, but there are people in the world who may. Now, the world is a different place. Pink does not necessarily mean girls anymore. Small way that I allow my boys to break the rules. But if you look at my life, I break rules. I moved my family to Mexico when I was 7.5 months pregnant. I had a beautiful, essentially secular, although I'm deeply spiritual. You are in a spiritual container right now. But home birth that yes, I had a great home birth. um, and I have often zigged when you're supposed to zag throughout my life. Choosing to be an entrepreneur most of the time. I joke that I've been unemployable now for goodness, now I would say going on since 2019 officially, but that was the last job I took, and I had built 4 businesses prior to that. So to say that I don't follow the rules that most of society, or especially Western society, puts on us is true. And yet, so much is still there. And I have still done many of the things, and I'm slowly but surely unraveling that. Choosing to move my family to Mexico 2.5 years ago and figuring out how we live that life, figuring out how I can make income in ways that is not dependent on all the ways that we are told we have to. These have all been journeys that I have willingly gone down and sacrificed a lot in order to go the way that is against the grain. These lessons that come to you in ReWired or from the original text, they are not necessarily the easy button. Do they create a life that is full and meaningful and filled with joy? 100%. I know if you follow the things that are within this and within the original text, if you're reading that alongside this, you will experience a life filled with absolute joy, filled with meaning and purpose. But it's no easy one. You are going against the grain of the programming that is deep within us. And this idea that you can choose what you want. You can choose to break the rules. Choosing to break the rules also means accepting the consequences of the rules you're choosing to break. But the first thing we have to do if we're going to break rules is really look at the rules that we're following and decide, is this a rule that I really want to be following? Does it actually add value to my life? Does it feed the joy, the love, the divine fulfillment that is my birthright? Or does it keep me chained and shackled to old beliefs and old structures and old ways of living that no longer serve me? You have a deeper wisdom that can guide you into the way to live life that serves you to the fullest, to experience the love and joy that is what you are meant to have. But you have to make the choice. We have been strengthening your ability, your willpower to get there. And today is just a reminder that you have the choice. The only laws we have to follow are those of the universe. The universal laws, those of Source and God, those are the ones we need to follow, the ones that we have to follow. And those are not even things like gravity, per se. Now, does that mean that you can pick up and choose to fly tomorrow? No. Does it mean the possibility exists? Yeah. Ask someone 150 years ago if we'd be flying in tin cans in the sky, and no one would believe it. There's a lot possible that we're told today is not God, Source, the universe. He speaks to you in the in-between moments, giving you the little hint of which direction to go. And if we're listening, and we listen by opening up the space, doing these daily practices, that deepens the listening and it shows up in the mere moments where you know, where you make a decision and it flows. May not be easy, but it flows. The wisdom is already within you. It's beyond the mind that is always thinking. Can you trust it? Can you let go of the rules that you've been told to follow? Are you willing to look at what rules you still follow and if they're really serving you? Today is a day to just be in curious, compassionate contemplation, to remember the wise teacher that is already guiding you, to listen just a little bit deeper, to be willing to see and hear where you are following rules that no longer serve you, making decisions because of a path that someone set you on someday that you do not need to be on anymore. This is for you. Thanks for joining me today. Day 76 of ReWired. If you've just come upon this video somewhere on the internet, please consider signing up. For the low price of $47, you'll get daily reminders of this practice, a daily practice to experience transformation for the spiritually curious high achiever and rewire your brain for miracles. You can get that at inspiredfocus.co/rewired. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for being here. Thank you for your dedication, your devotion. I'll see you tomorrow for day 77.